I'm loving the revelations that's coming from right wingers and capitalist sympathizers and workers who think they're capitalists, right? I think this guy is capitalist, Wall Street Silver, to be fair, probably a rich guy. Uh, they're starting to realize that the Marxists was correct. That the West is not as great as they thought it was. Now they won't ever say it like that. They gotta reconcile this shit somehow. So one way they reconcile this is they come up with absurd, ridiculous theories like Emmanuel Macron, Joe Biden controlled by a communist cabal. They're actually socialists and communists. They're globalists. No, 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 no. It's capitalism. This will always be the end result of capitalism. Capitalism leads to authoritarianism because this will happen when you get concentrated amount of power to the people who wields capital. It's this kind of corruption. The capitalists then pick their leaders, and the leaders do whatever the capitalists want. So that's why I always find it hilarious when people make all these excuses on why the West is not exactly what they thought growing up, right? So, and that's why I show a lot of these right-wing tweets because this is a very right-wing guy. Okay, man, tweeting about these Western stories, but his analysis is completely different. According to him, it's because of the woke left socialist mob that destroyed the West, which is absurd. No, it's the capitalists. Cope. Okay? So let me read the tweet. The National Assembly in France adopted Article 3 of the Justice Bill, which authorizes the authorities to remotely activate the cameras and microphones of telephones or other connected devices without the knowledge of persons concerned. 80 votes for, 24 votes against. What are rights that are temporary and easily taken away? So now the government had the right to hijack your phone. These are the Western values that you guys cherish. Now, once again, I'm interested in seeing how these guys cope with this. Because these people who love the West, the Western chauvinists, right? How they cope with the West falling apart. The West is in shambles. Late stage capitalism is here, as predicted. The rise of police states, the rise of authoritarianism, the rise of tech authoritarianism, the coordination between big tech and government. You got a lot of conservatives that's upset because of the power of big tech. You guys see that, right? I know imagine that. Like you see Matt Gaetz, you will see like the Steven Crowders and many of those people. They will consider themselves edgy because they talk about the big tech company. Oh, look, I'm a populist because I talk about big tech companies. Who are big tech companies? It's a collection of capitalists accumulating power the way capitalists do in this society. Correct? So how are you guys blaming on socialism? Why are your eye off the mark and you guys scared about communism? That should be the last thing you guys are worried about right now. But go ahead, Andrew, if you want to chime in.
Well, no, this is just another example of what you were saying before with even the same wording. The control over language and therefore people's thought processes is so strong that people will use authoritarianism only to describe other countries. We have 100 years plus of describing any socialist country as authoritarianism to make those synonyms in people's brains. And then they have to come up with, because they can't get outside of this propaganda that they've heard, they will just say, oh, now there's authoritarianism coming here because it's what I've been told is authoritarianism. They have no ability to think critically about it because they've been robbed of the true meaning of language. And this video, I thought it was relevant. It's showing how iPhones take an infrared photo roughly every 5 seconds. There's 3 or so infrared cameras. Really, any phone
there's another one.
Any phone that does facial recognition has this technology. And so what the French are doing here is they are tapping into this technology that already exists, that they most likely coordinated with large tech companies to instruct them to put into their phones so that it could be used as a resource for state repression. So they're just tapping into this technology that has already been made available to them in France. And the fact that they are officiating it is really just to give a legal justification for breaking the law and terrible surveillance behavior they were doing in the past. They're just normalizing it now and saying, okay, now it's legal for us to use this tool we created to oppress the populations.